All right, today we're going to dive into something I think is, well, it's just incredibly important. It's from David Brooks' fantastic book, How to Know a Person. And it's all about this skill he calls the art of truly seeing others. And honestly, he makes a pretty convincing case that this might be the single most important skill any of us can learn, especially right now.
So Brooks kicks things off with this scene that, we've all been there, right? He's in a bar in D.C. and he's just watching. There's a couple on what looks like a first date, but the guy's just talking and talking and talking. And then there's another couple, totally silent, just lost in their phones. Everyone's in the same room, but they're a million miles away from each other. And that's where he drops this line. Their eyes are open, but nobody is actually seeing each other.
And that really gets to the heart of the whole thing. It begs the question, why are we so bad at this? Really, why? And look, this isn't just about some awkward first dates. Brooks is arguing that this is a full-blown crisis of connection, of loneliness, of just fundamentally misunderstanding each other.
All right, section 1, looking without seeing. The subtitle here is The Modern Crisis of Connection. And this is the core problem, right? Brooks is basically saying we're in this massive crisis of connection. We are constantly looking at each other, but we're not seeing each other. And this disconnect, it's not harmless. He argues it's actually changing how we think, making us more suspicious, more defensive.
And what's really interesting is that Brooks is totally honest about his own shortcomings here. He says he's guilty of it too. He calls it the size up. You know what he means, right? You meet someone new and bam, your brain just starts cataloging. Their clothes, their job, maybe a tattoo, and you slap a label on them. It's fast, it's efficient for sure, but he says it is the absolute enemy of real understanding. As he puts it, we're fantastic at sizing people up, but we're just terrible at seeing them deeply.
So, okay, that's the problem. But what's the solution? How do we actually fix this? Well, this is where Brooks gives us this really simple but super powerful framework. He says that in basically any conversation, any interaction, we're acting as one of two kinds of people, a diminisher or an illuminator.
Let's break these down. Diminishers, you know these people. They just make you feel small, totally unseen. They're the ones who are quick to stereotype you, who kind of talk down to you. They basically take all your complexity and just flatten you. But then you have the illuminators, and they are the complete opposite. They make you feel respected, seen, and truly understood. They're curious about you. They have this generous way of looking at you that just makes you feel more alive. And to really drive this home, Brooks tells this amazing story. So he's interviewing this 93-year-old retired teacher. Her name is LaRue Dorsey. And from the get-go, she's kind of stern. A real old-school disciplinarian type. The whole interview is pretty formal, a little bit stiff. And then this guy named Jimmy just walks into the diner where they're talking.
And this guy, Jimmy, turns out he was one of her old students, and he just comes right up, grabs her by the shoulders with this huge grin on his face, and just starts shouting, "Mrs. Dorsey! Mrs. Dorsey! You're the best! You're the best! I love you! I love you!" And just like that, in that one single moment, the stern, formal woman Brooks was talking to just disappears.
What a perfect example, right? Brooks says her stern old face was just instantly replaced by the face of like a happy 9-year-old girl. Jimmy was an illuminator. And this is the key. By projecting a totally different quality of attention, he called forth a different version of her. His way of seeing her didn't just observe her, it actually had the power to change her. Think about that. The way we look at people can literally change who they are in that moment.
Okay, so if being an illuminator is so powerful, why isn't everyone doing it? Why is it so darn hard? Well, that brings us to our next section, why we missee others and the barriers to true understanding. Brooks points out a few major mental roadblocks that get in our way.
Okay, barrier number 1 is something called naive realism. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. It's this false assumption that the way you see the world, that's just how the world is. It's objective reality. We get so stuck inside our own heads, we can't fathom how someone else could look at the exact same thing, a movie, a political debate, whatever, and see something completely different.
And then there's the second big barrier, the lesser minds problem. Think about it. You know all the complicated, messy, contradictory thoughts bouncing around in your own head, right? But with other people, you only see the surface. So what happens? We tend to assume our own motives are deep and complex and good, while other people's motives are simple and probably selfish. Like, I'm starting this business to make a difference in the world, but that guy over there, he's just in it for the money. So if we want to get past these barriers, we need a really fundamental shift in how we even think about what a person is. And this next idea is, for my money, the most profound insight in the entire book.
It's called A Person is a POV, or the central insight for seeing deeply.
Here it is. A person is a point of view. What does that mean? It means a person isn't just a list of facts on a resume, right? Not just a collection of traits. A person is a subjective consciousness. Every single person you meet has taken all the raw stuff of their life, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, and they have woven it all together into a completely unique lens through which they see the entire world.
So if you really think about that, the goal can't be to just label someone or diagnose them like a doctor with a patient. No, the real art of knowing someone is learning to see the world through their eyes, not just at them. It's about taking off your own glasses for a second and trying on theirs, just to see what the world looks like from their perspective.
Okay, that's the big idea. But how do we actually put it into practice? Like, what can we do today to start getting better at this? Well, that brings us to the really practical part, how to start seeing with some simple skills for deeper conversations. So Brooks lays out a bunch of really useful techniques, and here are 3 of my favorites. First, don't fear the pause. This is huge. So often when someone's talking, we're just busy thinking about what we're going to say next. Stop doing that. Just listen. Let them finish completely. Then, take a beat. A little silence is okay. It gives everyone a second to think. Second, keep the gem statement at the center. This is for when you're in a conflict. Find that one core thing you both actually agree on, like we both just want what's best for our son, and keep coming back to that. It's your anchor. And third, ask how, not what. This is a game changer. Asking what are your plans usually just gets you a list, but asking how do you hope to spend the years ahead, well, that invites a story. And stories are where you find the person.
You know, when you boil it all down, the art of knowing another person isn't just a social skill. Brooks argues it's really a moral act. It's a conscious choice to give someone your generous attention, to be genuinely curious, and to start with the belief that every single person is a deep, complex, and fascinating world just waiting to be discovered. So that leaves us with just one question, a challenge really. Who will you make an effort to truly see today?